Hey everyone, welcome to the Planner Spot. I'm Sam, and today I'm going to share the different ways that I brain dump. So I have 4 ways that I brain dump. Ideally, I would always be brain dumping in my planner, but sometimes that's not possible. Either my planner's not around me or it's just not convenient to open up my planner and write something down. So I do have a few other ways that I brain dump to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks whenever ideas or things pop up throughout the day. So first of all, like I said, the ideal way to brain dump is directly in my planner, and the place I do that is on my daily spread. So on my daily spread, on the front of the page, I have my schedule and my tasks, but on the back, I have a grid notes page. And I always like to give a heads up that if you look in our shop for these daily inserts, it's not going to have a grid notes page on the back. It's just going to have this layout on the front and the back. I just made these custom for myself because I like extra space for notes. But this is where I brain dump throughout the day. So it's just notes that I take throughout the day, like when I'm reading emails or if something comes up, my husband tells me, my kids tell me something, and I jot it down to take care of later. So for instance, I started thinking of some dates I need to set for November and December. And so as I was going through my emails and my morning stuff, things were popping up in my head. So I started jotting them down. And then that's what I'll do throughout the day. Whatever comes up, I just jot it down here in the brain dump. And then I process them at the end of the day, meaning I take whatever's here and I either take care of it then and there, or I transfer it to different places, either to a running task list or in my calendar or whatever. So for example, like I said, this list here is to set some dates for November and December. I have to like talk to my husband, talk to my family, talk to friends and stuff before I can set these dates. So what I would do is I would put it in my running task list. And so this is my second type of brain dump here. And so it's on my iPad, and I showed this in my digital planning video. I'll link it above, but I use the Notability app, and right in my Notability app, I have a note called Brain Dump, and this is just for a running to-do list that I just keep all the time. So when I am planning things, planning my month, my week, or my days, I always reference this list to see if there's anything that I can plug into my planning. So for instance, at the end of today, I take whatever's here and like I said, I put it where it needs to go. But for these things, like I said, I need to consult some people first. So I'm just going to add it to my running task list instead of directly into my calendar. So set dates. And so I just write it all out. And like I said, this is just my reminder to take care of this soon. Then I just check it off. So that is my first brain dump, and what I showed you in my Notability app is my second brain dump. Another way I brain dump, because, like if I'm in bed on my phone or lounging on the couch with my family or even out and about, it's not always convenient to open my planner and write things down or my iPad and write it down. So a couple of other ways that I brain dump is using my phone or my iPad as well. So one thing I do is I do screenshots. So like I said, if I'm laying in bed and I'm like scrolling through Instagram or browsing the internet and I see something I like or I want to look more into or I need to do, and my planner or iPad is not handy for me to write it down, then I screenshot it. So in my photos, I have an album called Brain Dump, and here are screenshots and even photos that I've taken while out and about. So let me show you some examples. Here I was looking through my podcast looking for something to download, and I came across my podcast, and I noticed here that it says The Planner Girl instead of Sam & Co, because I was playing around with possibly naming the podcast The Planner Girl, like The Planner Spot, The Planner Girl, but I changed my mind and wanted to stick with Sam & Co, but I forgot to change the title here. So I screenshot it to remind myself to make that change. Another example is I was watching a YouTube video and I was watching Sarah Marie Plans, I think it's called. She talks a lot about budgeting. So I screenshot it just to remind myself how she set hers up and maybe I want to try it out. Here's an example of when I was out and about. So this past weekend, I was out and I saw this makers market. They were having it on that day and they're having it on another day in December, and I really liked it and I thought that I want to bring my husband and my girls to it. So I took a photo of it for the date and the time and stuff to remind myself to add it to my calendar. Here's a recipe. So I often screenshot recipes to try. So the way I process these is sometimes writing it down in my iPad. So let's say this one, changing the planner girl. I would put that in my brain dump because I'll just probably schedule it for next week or sometime soon. So I just would put it here, the planner girl, and I'll know what that refers to, and that reminds me to change it. For this photo of the budget, one thing I really love about Notability is Notability syncs to my iPad, my phone, and my laptop. And so if I press this little arrow button here and I choose Notability, then I can choose where to put this, create a new note. I'll title it like budget idea, and then put it in the subject area. So it'd be finances, and then import. So here in my Notability app, if I go to finances, there it is, the budget idea, and there's the photo. This one for the makers market, I would put it on my calendar. So here in my Google Calendar, I won't put that on right now just because it might have some private information about our like personal calendar, but I would just basically put this on my calendar and then I could delete it. So that's how I process everything on this brain dump in my photo albums. And then my last brain dump is also on my phone using the Voice Memos app. And so here, I just have different recordings. So this is for when I'm in the car. So obviously when I'm driving, I can't open my planner or my iPad and write things down. So I started taking voice memos. And so all I do is nothing fancy. Actually, I'll play a few for you so you can hear it. But all I do is record a quick note. These are just like 4 seconds, 6 seconds. This one's 14 seconds, but just quick notes. And then at the end of the day, I go through all these voice memos and I process them out. So here's an example of what one would sound like. I recorded this one yesterday. Cash cards for allowance. Excuse my crazy sounding voice, but I'm just reminding myself to look into doing cash cards. So I would write that here on my brain dump. So I would just move this down a bit and then write it here. And then I can delete that. Here's an example of another one. Monthly series. Monthly video series. So I just had a thought about for 2022 every month doing a video series on our YouTube channel. So I'll write this on the business side. So I forgot if I mentioned in my brain dump, this side is personal items and this side is business items. So for video series, actually monthly video series, I put this on my business side. So you get the idea. So at the end of the day, I just go through all my recordings, process them out wherever they need to go, and then delete the notes. So these are my 4 brain dumps: my planner, my photo album, my voice memos, and then my brain dump in my Notability app, which is my running task list. So some people might wonder if things fall through the cracks because I have 4 different places that I keep brain dumps instead of one central place. But the way that I make sure that doesn't happen is on my daily goals and tasks list. So I showed this in a video before, I'll link it up above, but I have daily goals and recurring tasks, basically my planning routine for monthly, weekly, and daily. So here in my daily, I have these tasks here to check all my brain dumps so I make sure that I don't forget about anything. So here, forward items from yesterday, that's where I would look at the brain dump here. And then I have here check brain dump. That's referring to my main brain dump in my iPad Notability app. And then check screenshots, check voice memos. So it's all right here. And I use this planning routine to plan my day every single day so nothing falls through the cracks. So yeah, that's it. Those are my 4 brain dumps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, maybe got a couple of ideas for yourself. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.